Good morning, guys. So today we're going to be trying out the new Revlon Age Defying times 3 times foundation. I've had this for a while and I've been testing it out a lot to see how it works on my face. As you know, I do have oily skin, so sometimes foundations work differently on my face than it does on other people. So the Revlon website says that this is a Tri-Shield technology. Delivers a age protective benefit of a hydrating moisturizer, a smoothing serum, and a radiant primer in one. So that's pretty awesome. It only comes in 12 different shades, so the shade range is ridiculous. But it does have a protectant of SPF of 20, and it just says multiple benefit makeup, firms, lifts, hydrates, and covers. So there isn't very much information on the website. It does say that it keeps your skin looking youthful longer. I ended up paying, I think it was like $12 or $14 at Walmart. Let's go ahead and put it on. I went ahead and used my Photo Finish primer from Smashbox. And then I did use the pore filler from Smashbox. And before I did any of that, I did spray my face with the primer water from Smashbox. I'm going to do this side with a sponge and then this side with a brush. So let's go ahead and do the brush side first. I'm just going to be using my It Cosmetics brush here. It's just like a slanted makeup brush. I'm going to just do one little pump here. It is a little watery. And let's go ahead and just place this. So here's the brush side, and here's the side without the foundation. So you can see it does a good job of covering one pump. So you do need a little bit more foundation with this to get to, I would say, medium coverage. You can probably build it up to a full coverage foundation if you like. I don't feel like it would get overly cakey if you put more on there, but let's go ahead and do the other side with the sponge. Alright, and that's how it goes on with the Beauty Blender. So it does pretty well as well with the Beauty Blender. I feel like you get a little bit more coverage with the brush, which is pretty normal when you're using a brush because the brush doesn't take away the foundation the way the Beauty Blender does a little bit, you know, it smooths it out as much. But it does a really good job of covering either way. You can get a lighter coverage with the blender. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush here with a tiniest pump, which is nice because you don't need, with this pump you can pretty much put as much or as little foundation on your hand or on your brush or wherever you want to put it with it. So it's a controlling pump, which is awesome. You don't have to use like a full pump if you don't want to. I'm just going to put a little bit more in the areas here where I have a little bit of redness. Let's see what happens there if I build that up. All right, perfect. So that's what it looks like with it on the full face. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on. I'm definitely going to set it. I'll let you know what makeup I've used after I come back, so you're aware of what I put on top of it. Let me give you the time. 6:36 in the morning when we've got the foundation on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, all right. Bye-bye. So here's how the finished look turned out. So everything goes on really nicely with this foundation. I have no issues with it whatsoever when it comes to the application and putting other makeups on top. I did use the RCMA setting powder to set under the eyes. I also used the Clinique line smoothing concealer under the eyes, but I didn't take it down into the triangle or anything like that. I just put it right here under the eyes and then smoothed it out with the Beauty Blender, and then again I set it with the RCMA setting powder. Then I used my normal Clay Play palette to do some contour. I used my Tarte blush for blush today, and I used the color Lovable, which is this color here, for blush. I used the Mary Luminizer for highlight, and then I used Mondays from Dose of Colors for lipstick today. And I also used the Soft Glam palette on the eyes. So that review is coming up soon, I promise. Alright, so that's how everything looks with the foundation on. I think everything goes smoothly on. It doesn't budge once it's set. It does stay a little tacky, but it does but it doesn't move around. So I like to set it because, you know, I have an oily T-zone, so I need to set everything. But other than that, it does really, really well with other makeups. So let's go ahead and see how it's gonna last throughout the day. So I'll come back at about 4 to 5 hours to show you what it looks like around that time, and then I'll come back again at the end of the day to show you what it looks like and how it lasts on the face throughout the day. So it should be about a 12-hour test today. So I'm gonna go ahead and head to work, and then I'll see you guys here in a little bit. All right, guys, we're doing the first check-in. It is exactly 1:20 in the afternoon. I hope you can see that. So that means that we've had this foundation on for 7.5 hours, a little bit close to 7.5 hours. So far it's doing really well. I'm not getting super oily or anything like that, which is really nice. I am starting to get just a tad bit oily in the T-zone area, just right up here. And my nose so far is doing pretty well. It's not really clinging to the sides of my nose. Sometimes foundations will do that, especially if they're not considered a matte foundation. They will start gathering here on the sides of my nose. It's not fading away on my chin at all. It's still covering really well on the sides of my face here where I do have a little bit of scarring. I'm gonna just take my beauty blender from this morning and then just pat off some of these oils that I have here just to see where the foundation sits after that. All right, so that's what it looks like after patting off the oils off my face. I think it's doing really well so far. It's it's holding up really, really well. I haven't been doing much of anything except working, so I'm not like out running a marathon or anything like that, but I have been outside a few times today and it's super windy, so the foundation seems to be doing really well at 7.5 hours. So I'll be back in another 4 to 5 hours to show you what it looks like at the end of the day and see if it holds up all day long. But so far so good. I have worn this foundation before in the past, so I know how well it's going to hold up. It's going to do pretty well. So I'll be back here in a little bit to show you what it looks like at the end of the day. Alright guys, it is now the end of the day. It is now 8 o'clock in the evening. I got a new phone, so we've had this on for 13.5 hours now, and so far it still looks really, really good at 13 hours. I'm definitely getting oily in the T-zone, which is super normal for my skin. Just take my beauty blender here and then just remove some of these oils real quick to see where the foundation sits. So now that I've removed the oils, I think the foundation still looks really nice. My face feels a little tacky at this point, but it has been on for almost 14 hours, so I cannot complain whatsoever. The coverage is still really good at this 14-hour mark. I am starting to lose a little bit here at the bottom of my face where, you know, you touch yourself during the day. There's no cakiness happening or anything around the nose area. My nose actually still looks like it has foundation on it. So does everywhere else. I mean, there is a little bit of fading here in the area where I did get a little oily, but it's nothing that's over the top noticeable, and I would not complain about the coverage of this foundation at the 14-hour mark. So would I say that this is a good foundation to try out if you're looking for a new drugstore foundation? I would say yes. I would say this is really nice. I think it works really well with oily skin. There is a little bit of maintenance where you will have to blot throughout the day to control some of the oils, but if you don't mind doing that kind of stuff, I think this would be a really, really good drugstore foundation for all day wear if you are interested in a new one. So that is my review. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this foundation, and I shall talk to you guys sometime within the week. Bye!